In this video, we're going to be adding fractions, but this time with different denominators. By the end of this video, you should be able to add the fractions with different denominators. So let's take a look. When we add fractions with different denominators, we need to make sure that we can change one of the fractions so that it has the same denominator in both fractions. So what does that mean? Let's say I have 1/4 and I want to add on 1/2. I can't just add the 1/4 and the 1/2 as it is. I'm not going to get 2/6. I can't just add the 1 and the 1 to get 2 and the 4 and the 2 to get 6. That doesn't work. Just leaving the numerators the same also doesn't work. We're not going to end up with an answer that is out of 6. So what do we do instead? Well, what I need to do is I need to take that half and I need to change it into something that's going to be out of 4. And I can do that by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by 2. On my diagram, all I'm doing is drawing a horizontal line straight down the middle, which will turn my halves into quarters. So now I can add 1/4 and 2/4 together. We saw that in the previous video to get 3/4. So we need to reevaluate our rule. We had before that our rule was to add the numerators and keep the denominators the same. Now we need to add a rule before that, and that is to get a common denominator. So let's take a look at 3 examples showing us how to get a common denominator first, and then following the process of adding the numerators and then keeping the denominators the same. In these 3 examples, we're going to look at adding fractions with different denominators. In question A, I have 1/4 plus 1/8, and I'm going to need to start off by changing this 1/4 into eighths. I can do that by doubling the numerator and the denominator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 1 and I'm going to times it by 2, and I'm going to take the 4 and I'm going to times it by 2. This now gives me a fraction of 2/8 plus 1/8, which I can find the answer to by adding the numerators and keeping the denominators the same. So 1/4 plus 1/8 is exactly the same as 2/8 plus 1/8, which is 3/8. Let's take a look at question B. Question B wants me to add 3/10 and 1/5 together. What I'm going to need to do is change this 1/5 into tenths. And I can do that by, again, doubling the numerator and the denominator. So I'm going to double the 1, and I'm going to get 2, and I'm going to double the 5, and I'm going to get 10. So this gives me the exact same question as 3/10 plus 2/10, which is 5/10. Now when I see 5/10, I know that I can simplify this. I can divide the top and the bottom by 5 because 5 goes into both of them. And so I get a final answer of 1/2. So 3/10 plus 1/5 is 1/2. Final question, part C. 1 1/3 plus 4 1/9. Now this one does look tricky, but I'm going to start off by adding together the 1 and the 4, because that's easy to do. I'm going to get 5 for that. Then I need to try and add the 3rd to the 9th. They're not common denominators, so I'm going to need to change that somehow. Now, it's not going to help me just doubling it. What I'm going to have to do to the 1/3 is I'm going to have to triple it or times it by 3. That will give me a common denominator of 9. So if I times the top by 3, I get 3. If I times the bottom by 3, I get 9. I'm now adding 3/9 and 1/9 together to give me a total of 5 and 4 out of 9. And that's adding fractions with different denominators. So what should you write now? Well, adding that extra rule of getting a common denominator is a very important point, as well as the 3 examples that I went through when I was writing them out. And that's it. Hopefully now you can add fractions with different denominators. Remember the extra special rule of get a common denominator first. Good luck.